At Goldran's grand celebration, as laughter and praise fill the air, he recalls the pivotal moment that launched his rise 13 years ago when an explosion rocked the city. On that day, he chose to heal the most important-looking person he saw, hoping to earn a powerful favor. Unbeknownst to him, the man was one of the great nobles. Bonds captured a photograph of Goldran mid-rescue, using it as leverage ever since to secure his place as Goldran's first secretary. In the present, Becker approaches Goldran at the party and pours him a glass of wine, listening politely as Goldran complains about Zenos, calling him an ignorant peasant who doesn't understand his place. Lord Fennel, ready to praise Goldran publicly for saving his life long ago, is abruptly silenced when Goldran interrupts and toasts to his own perceived success, believing he's reached the peak of his ambitions. Elsewhere, Umin, Krayson, and Zenos examine an old photograph. Umin recognizes Afred and another young girl dying in the background. Back at the party, things take a dark turn. One by one, the guests collapse. Becker calmly reveals to a stunned Goldran that he has poisoned everyone's drinks. However, Goldran's was laced with a weaker version of the toxin just enough to recreate the scene from 13 years ago. Becker's voice hardens as he reveals that Afred and his fiancée was also the victim of that incident. He tells him that he have more than enough people here to sacrifice. Goldran says he must have the antidote on him, hearing which Becker drinks the potioned wine himself and becomes one of the potential target Goldran could save. Panicking, Goldran chooses to save himself first, then Lord Fennel. He begins draining life force from his own students as Becker cruelly mocks him, noting that Goldran could have saved more lives with his own reserves. But Goldran places his life above all others. Just as Becker begins to feel the effects of the poison himself, Umin, Krayson, and Zenos rush in. Umin demands to know why he did this. Becker finally explains. 13 years ago, he and his fiancée were young healers. She was hopeful, believing all lives were worth saving, but she perished in the explosion. His grief turned to obsession when Afred later confessed Goldran's involvement. With no proof and Afred vanishing soon after, Becker hired Zenos, believing he could either expose Goldran or shake loose the truth from within. Krayson, appalled, speaks out. He understands Becker's grief and agrees Goldran is a scumbag, but involving innocent lives for revenge crosses a line. A healer's duty is to save, not condemn. Zenos commends Krayson's words and reminds Becker that if things remain as they are, he'll be charged with mass attempted murder. As repayment for the farewell party Umin and Krayson threw for him, Zenos steps forward. To everyone's disbelief, Zenos begins healing the guests one by one, without even knowing the poison's properties. Becker stares in stunned silence as Zenos undoes his hateful plan with nothing but raw skill and compassion. One by one, the guests recover, all except Goldran. When he orders Zenos to heal him, Zenos coldly refuses, stating he's no longer part of his faction and is too tired to work without a fee. Goldran tries ordering his students, but they now remember how he had been willing to sacrifice them. Left with no other choice, Goldran agrees to pay, just as Lord Fennel demands he confess everything. Later, as the Knights open an investigation into the incident, Zenos and Umin are granted access to Becker, thanks to Krishna. During the conversation, Becker admits he never intended real harm. He had only prepared a paralyzing agent. Someone else had spiked the drinks with actual poison. He suspects Afred. Afred may have been at the party, watching, silently turning Becker's test into a trap. Krishna offers to use her authority to have Becker released, and Umin quietly requests she do so. Before departing, Zenos and Becker discuss a troubling detail. The girl in the photo confirms Afred is already dead. Whatever confronted Becker wasn't human. Becker warns Zenos that since he derailed its plan, he may now be the next target. Elsewhere, it's revealed the underground assassin from Aston's case is no mere man. It is something else, now possessing Afred's corpse. As the dust settles, Umin and Krayson say their emotional goodbyes to Zenos and Lily. Before parting, Lily shyly calls Krayson Big Brother for the first time. And just when it feels like peace might last, Carmilla ominously mutters a warning. Zenos is definitely getting caught up in something else again.